Just in the past couple of days, we have seen a new winner announced for the Mercury Prize Award. That is a prestigious UK award that highlights the best in underground indie music, and has done a pretty good job over the years, to be fair. I think even when I don't necessarily agree with the winner, I actually am always appreciative of how diverse and the layers of different genres and cultures that they include into their Mercury Prize Awards. I'm always a bit pissed and piffed and peeved at some of the winners over the past couple of years particularly, but this year we've seen little Simz win her award, and it got me thinking, hey, this would make for a fun little video. My top 5 winners of the past however many bloody years this thing's been going. I'm not going to go through the history, I'm not going to go through the background of the Mercury Prize. If you are a non-British viewer, go check out the history of this prize. I think overall the existence of it is really good, to be honest, for British music. The eyes on this award is very, very minimal. There aren't that many people that care about it, but if you are a music lover, you are definitely going to want to be caring about an award like this. It definitely does one of the best jobs at capturing and highlighting the best of British music. And they do a pretty good job of highlighting a variety of genres and artists in their winners as well, not just the nominations. A lot of the winners over the past few years have kind of span over soul music, hip hop, friggin' electronic music. Like, it's been really good to see. And yeah, thought it'd be fun to do my own little top 5. However, I did just say I do get pissed and peeved at some of the winners sometimes, and we ain't gonna stay quiet on that, boys, because I have quite a list of nominees that probably should have won the year that they were nominated, and yet somehow they didn't. Somehow they did not. Block Party in 2005, my friends. I think that probably should have won. Katy B in 2011. I do think the PJ Harvey album that won was certainly worthy, but I think Katy B would have been a pretty sick winner, to be honest. It would have been nice to see her win that award. Also captured like the essence of early 2010s music a little bit better than PJ Harvey, who had already won an award up until this point, by the way. She's the only artist that's ever won 2, would you believe? And by the way, Radiohead has never won 1. I was scrolling through, couldn't see a single one they won. Radiohead have never won a Mercury Prize. Can you believe that? British music that didn't give them an award. That's kind of crazy, actually. 2013 is crazy. I'm sorry, I like some James Blake songs. I like a couple of his albums here and there, but no way was that album better than Bloody Disclosure. John Hopkins. No, wait, was this 2014? I think it might have been 2013. No, 2013, yeah, same year. John Hopkins, Disclosure, Savages, bro. All 3 of those should have won. K-Tempest in 2014 as well, could have won. Jamie XX didn't win for In Colour. David Bowie didn't win and lost to Skepta, which is crazy. Crazy. Black Midi and Nubia Garcia, probably the least recognisable name on this entire list, but Nubia Garcia was dropping an amazing jazz album. In 2020, she dropped an amazing album, and that should have won. And honestly, their representation of jazz music over the years has been pretty piss poor. So it would have been nice to see something like that win. So this top 5 would look massively different if all of those artists had won over the years. But we are only talking about the winners, and these are my 5 picks. London is calling you. Starting with Benjamin Clementine, probably one of the most unexpected wins of the past however many years now. A very unique sounding album that captures a really cool sort of like Victorian sound and an early London aesthetic that just makes it sound so bizarrely interesting to listen to. And the guy's a great singer. Benjamin Clementine has a fantastic voice, and this album is honestly really good. And really strange to see something like this win. But again, the Mercury Prize is really good at capturing these kinds of albums, because no other award ceremony would ever give an album like this a win. You have to appreciate Mercury Prize for the shit that they do. What else would you ever see win like that sounds like this album? And that's not to say that just because it's unique it means it's good, but it is good. It's a really good album. The production is top notch. The vocals are boyish and charming as hell. This is a really cool pick for the Mercury Prize, I gotta say. And yeah, this is my 5th pick. It goes actually for me above Boy in the Corner, which is a bit of a controversial one because I do think Dizzy Rascal's debut album is really, really good. But I think this one just slightly edges it, honestly. And number 4, we got Pulp, one of the iconic British acts of the 90s. The controversial thing, I'd imagine at the time, I don't know what sort of response this got, but this beat Oasis, which is kind of mad. And I could imagine people being like, oh, you pick the hipster pick, and you know, it's just an award show for all the hipsters and all that kind of shit. And yeah, okay, whatever, Oasis would definitely and are still way more popular than Pulp will ever be, even years after Oasis have not been a thing. They are massive in the UK. The amount of people that you meet that love Oasis is insane. But yeah, I'm sorry, Pulp are better. Oasis got the hits, Oasis got the really good songs, but as an album, different class is different gravy, boys. This is so good. It's so good. The choruses are fantastic. The vocals are really good. The lyrics are fantastic as well. Really interesting perspective that I just don't think Oasis really brought to the table ever. Like, their songs might be good, but they'd never in a million years make a song as potent and as poignant and as insightful as Common People. That song lives on forever and is one of the best songs I think I've ever heard that highlights the class differences between people living in the UK and living within the same culture, and how different two people can be and how different their backgrounds can be. It's a brilliant song, and lyrically across the album it's really, really good too.
I see the illness, see my aunt laying in her bed. I see her soul rising as her body gets closer to death.
Yeah, you were probably expecting this one because I did rave about this album when it came out. I've raved about Little Simz since I've started listening to her. All of her albums have been really interesting so far. She's a really fantastic talent, and this so was obviously going to win. Like, I think back in like September last year, whenever this dropped or whatever it was, I was just sat there thinking, this is going to win, right? Like, next year there's no way anything else can come out that's going to beat this, and it just was always obvious from the start. The luxurious production on this album is stunning. Like, the strings and the orchestral arrangements that back these tracks is absolutely stellar. Like, seriously, the way she was absolutely robbed of the Brit Award, because back early in the year she was nominated for the Brit Award as well and somehow didn't win. I understand that Adele is an icon for a lot of people, and Adele is a superstar, and I'm sure there'll be people being like, oh, look at you, you're the hipster thinking that the less popular one is better. But this album is so much better than friggin' Adele's weakest album to date. Like, that is one of her least interesting albums yet. And this album lyrically is fantastic, stunning musically. The elegance is to die for. Like, Little Simz massively deserved here. And even though it's just, you know, one, and it's only been about a year since it came out, this is easily amongst the best and is a brilliant album.
If you go away, please don't disappear.
This next pick kind of highlights the diversity of the Mercury Prize and also the top 5 picks that I've got here. Very, very different to anything else. The electronic leanings of this album, I think, are really super interesting. Lyrically, I think Sampha is on really, really good ideas here. You know, lots of lyrics about heat and melting and that kind of stuff. I think he does that really well. I think musically a lot of these tracks are fantastic. He made us wait way too long for this album, and I'm still mad about that. And not only that, but he's making us wait even longer for another bloody album too. He's not dropped anything since this one, and I am very disappointed. But I'm sure when he finally gives us an album, fucking hell, man. Please drop something, Sampha. I'm sure it'll be great, but yeah, Sampha on this album was so glorious to listen to. His vocals are perfect as well. Listen to any feature this guy's been on. Has he ever dropped a bad feature? Like, all those Drake songs he did back in the day, the Kendrick Lamar feature he did early this year. Like, this guy is an absolute cheat code when it comes to vocals. His voice is just absolutely And even after all of these really interesting picks for the winners, I've gone for probably the most obvious album on the whole thing. Arctic Monkeys' debut album. You know, they got nominated for their second album as well. Didn't win that year, but they won for their first album here. And yeah, it is just still so good. Like, musically, it's really rough and has a great garage, raucous feel to it. You know, in terms of like vocals, he's a really interesting singer in terms of how, you know, Yorkshire and Sheffield he sounds. There's so many Sheffield-isms in it. And I think they've transcended that as well, because this album is amongst one of the greatest indie rock albums of the 2000s. Despite the fact that, you know, even if you're outside of Sheffield, you might not get all of the little references that he mentions. I mean, he bloody mentions Rotherham on this thing. Like, Americans won't even know what Rotherham is if they've heard this album, and that's how big they are now. But still to this day, lyrically, there's the snarkiness, there's the humour, there's the on-point ideas as well. Again, similar to Pulp, with the kind of like class differences and things. And When the Sun Goes Down is still an amazing song from a lyrical perspective too. Yeah, it's the obvious pick, but I think they got it right this year, the year that this won, and it is still for me the best. I will say, so many great nominees over the years. If we'd seen different winners, this list might look completely different, honestly. But these 5 picks are really good albums, and they've highlighted lots of great nominees over the years as well, without even mentioning some of the artists that have never been nominated or didn't get nominated the year that they dropped an album and should have. I mean, I don't know what Leanne LaHavis has to do to, you know, get nominations, but she's been pretty snubbed for the past few years. And yeah, there's lots of great British music that hasn't ever even got a sniff at the Mercury Prize, but the albums that they have highlighted, they've done a really good job of diversifying it up. And yeah, I think it's a cool award show. I'm not always that big of a fan of the winner, like I keep saying, but when they get it right, they really get it right. And yeah, it's a really cool award show that deserves some praise. It deserves highlighting, and these are my 5 picks. If you've never kept up with it or have no interest in it, I'd definitely check out some of the nominees that especially got nominated this year if you haven't heard them before. There's some really cool picks in there. Go back through the lists through prior years as well, and listen to all of the nominees, because there's lots of great music in the catalogue of Mercury Prize. So yeah, this is my 5 picks. Let me know what you think. If you've got your own 5, let me know in the comments. Would love to see what you guys think. Have a good day, subscribe if you haven't already, and goodbye.